although even if we graduated in 45, the war was really
Right.
over. So
Right.
maybe some guys got drafted. No. My mouth works too fast sometimes and too slow sometimes. From 45 and even from our class of 46, they decided to drop out of school and go into the service.
Right.
But they got in the service and the war was immediately over.
Right.
And then they fiddled around for 6 months and were discharged. And some of them, no, two, I think, that joined the reserves. And of course, bang, in Korea, they got nailed again.
Right.
But I was in and I was discharged. Yeah, that's yesterday.
I forgot if I didn't ask you this. When you graduated in 46, and did you go in the military after that?
I went to college, and I graduated from college in June of 50, and the Korean War started the next day.
Wow. But you were
We're
not
not
drafted.
on
You're
camera.
on now. Yeah.
I'm on camera?
Yeah.
Oh, good grief. Okay.
So and you were not drafted at that time?
Yes, I was.
Oh, you were?
In 50, I was drafted, yes. And that was, the Army was a catastrophe at that time.
Yeah, you told me, right, we about your experience with that.
Yes.
Okay. So Clancy, you were telling me that you've had a variety of jobs that you had.
Well, yes.
In high school.
Growing up in Park Ridge was interesting. It was a great town. Most of the people had jobs. And we, the students in those days, we had clothing, we had food on the table, we had a home to live in Park Ridge. Very nice.
Right.
Very nice. But then the Depression took hold when we were 2, 3, 4 years old. And so things changed depending on our father's ability or to keep his job or to have a job.
Right.
And I happen to be lucky in that case. My father did have a job. Changed my life because he became a workaholic and wanted to protect his job, but had spent absolutely no time with his children. No picnics in my lifetime. I played football and was a swimmer in high school, and he never came to a football game or a swimming meet or anything.
Right.
He had bread on the table, though, and a nice home, and so it was a strange time.
Yeah.
The types of jobs I had, I think I mentioned them, but unloading freight cars downtown for the Railway Express Company at Christmas time, delivering newspapers, mainly the city paper that's still available. That was a one-day-a-week job. Of course, cutting grass and shoveling snow with Bill Gamble, a friend of mine, and working at the Park Ridge Country Club as a caddy. That was a very good job. Sometimes on a Friday night, there would, in the summertime, still get around in with somebody, and Saturdays and Sundays, and it was a good way to earn a few dollars. And of course, our parents didn't have the money to give us substantial allowances.
Right.
The way they get money was to go to work for the bloody
Sure.
stuff.
Right.
And that worked out very well. There was one family that was in, the youngest son, was in my kindergarten class in 33, and his father lost his job early in the Depression, probably around 33, 34. And that was tough, but they had 3 boys in the family, and they all caddied. And I think they kept the family alive and in Park Ridge with their outside work, meaning caddying and other things. Then there were people, and I talked to 2 of them last night. One young man, he said that he didn't work during the war. His father had a good job, but the main reason he didn't work was his brother was drafted into the service and got some kind of a disease and died within 6 months of being in the service. Never got overseas.
Wow.
So my friend didn't work. That's not the excuse, but the main reason lots of my friends didn't work is we were having too good a time. We didn't realize what the world was, how it was. We knew there was a war going on, but
Right.
and we were all involved in athletics in high school and with training for football, basketball, and swim and track. By the end of the day, you know, it was 7 o'clock, you had to do your homework, no time really to work.
Sure.
So that's kind of an excuse, but a reality
Yeah.
in those days.
That's right. So so with the war going on, was there, as far as at the country club, was it much busier, and because people didn't have as much money to spend on anything else, or?
Well, the country club seemed to be busy, and not enough caddies because the young guys were off in the war. Or the
Okay.
college students in those days were off in the war. So lots of times we'd carry 4 bags down the center of the fairway, and the players would come and get their own clubs from us because there
see.
were no carts. And
So they didn't have, since there was no golf carts back then.
no.
So,
And if there were a bunch of us, 2, 3, 4 caddies sitting there, then maybe you'd carry 2 bags and,
okay.
and spread it out. But when you were out on the course with your pal or my pal and my pals all out, then the next caddy had to carry 4.
wow. That's a lot of bags.
There was a lot of bags, but they weren't like they are today.
I suppose so.
There were these things today, and all the clubs you couldn't handle it.
So that's how come you made so much money, because you were carrying 4 bags then.
Oh yeah, that was. I don't remember what we got per golfer. I have no memory of that, but it was not bad money,
Sure.
Because where else were you going to get money?
Sure.
Movies. We went to the movies on Saturday. During the winter, in the fall, spring. And I remember that was 10 cents.
Right.
And there were 2 movie theaters, the Pickwick and then the one on the south side, just across the tracks. If you go south on Prospect
Right.
and cross the tracks and immediately turn left.
That's right. Was that? I think I know which way. And it was an ice rink too
They
at one
Made
point.
an ice rink out of it later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know of. I've seen pictures.
But
I don't know
that
the
was a
name.
movie theater. And we-
Did you go there too?
Yeah. Then there was a bowling alley above the Pickwick. I don't think that's active anymore, but my father was in the bowling league, so
Are you sure there was a bowling alley
oh,
above
I'm
the Pickwick?
absolutely sure.
I didn't-
You go around behind and in the alley and
Oh,
up a stair.
behind it, not above it, though.
Oh, no, it's above it. Whether it was above it or next door
Right.
above it, because the Pickwick, I remember, has got a high ceiling.
Yeah,
So it was probably off to the side,
okay,
to the south side. But yeah, there was probably 8 lanes up
Okay.
there. Yeah, I went up there with my father many times to watch him bowl the 30s.
so, I heard there was some rumor that, some of the caddies might bring their girlfriends occasionally on the golf course.
Well, we go wandering out there and smooch a bit, why not?
So,
Nice
so there,
walk.
there is some truth to that, I heard.
Oh, yeah, I'll admit to that. But smooching in those days is, it's different than smooching today. I'll
Gotcha. I
put it
understand.
that way.
That's good. Well, thanks a lot, Clancy. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, I'm not sure what other stories I can tell you, except repeating again, a marvelous place to be lucky enough to be born and raised, and to have associated with the people that I have associated with. I told you just a minute ago that I had dinner last night with a girl from my kindergarten class of 1933, but I know 7 women from that class that are still alive that I communicate with. Some I see, 3 I think. But the others I write to because I keep track of my high school class.
Right.
And Monday of this week, I sent out my June mailing of pictures and things I collect when I hear from somebody.
Oh, okay.
But it's amazing to know 7 women from 33.
Sure. I don't know too many myself, so I admire that.
Yeah, and I think I know 4 men. Most of the guys are, well, let's say 4 or 5 are dead, but
Right.
I think I still know 4.
That's great.
It's been a good life, and for any of you watching this at some future date, Park Ridge was, and I think still is, an excellent place to live and raise your children, and that's why I support a place called Avenues to Independence, to help other people that haven't been quite as fortunate as I have.
Well, thanks a lot for that, Clancy, and thanks for your time sharing your stories and your memories.
Okay, thank you.